Hey, welcome back to the channel, everyone. We got the Patriot at the Knife and Tool Works. Today's Wednesday. I'm doing a real quick way back Wednesday video here. I'm going to share the oldest knife in my collection. Camera's facing the mic's facing the other way, so I'm talking kind of loud because I'm going to be flipping everything around in a minute. I wasn't going to do a video today. I've got a lot of stuff going on. My wife had surgery 8 days ago. Had a couple rough nights. But she's doing okay now. She's going to be fine. So extra prayers for her would be wonderful, folks. I got to pick up my grandson in an hour and a half or so. So I thought I'd slip something in. But before we get going, I want to talk about knife channels. And there's so many great knife channel content out there, folks. It's awesome. You know, when I kind of started up the whole knife channel, antique tools and things years ago, the one thing when guys like the Knife Doctor and some of these other folks were coming along, the thing that I thought was just absolutely the coolest was to see the younger generation grab onto it. I thought that was just so awesome because folks, there were several decades where it was like the generations were just, you know, just kind of the heritage of it all was just kind of lost. And so over the last 6, 7, 8 years, man, it's just awesome to see the younger generation get into neat old knives, working with their hands, getting away from playing video games or whatever, you know, and getting into hunting and fishing and praying. Sound familiar, huh? That's a great channel too, hunting, fishing, and praying. But one thing I will say, the channels that I gravitate to are the ones that are kind of unique. They kind of have something unique going on. They're not like they're not the same, you know, they're kind of unique. So I'm going to just share my, I think, one thing I will say, find your niche. If you're going to start a channel or you got a young channel going, find your niche. Whatever it might be, man, and run with it. And there's so much to learn, folks. It's so cool. I mean, how much better is it to sit back and learn about an old Western States pocket knife, you know, than sitting back watching some dumb TV show. You know, I mean, it's really a wonderful thing. There's a lot of great folks out there that can teach you, and you can learn a lot. And so grab onto it, folks. Enjoy it. I might piss somebody off once in a while. I might say something that kind of bends somebody sideways. Well, you know what? They'll get straightened out. You know, and so life is that way. I mean, it is the way it is. I just give a big shout out to all the wonderful channels out there and wonderful content. I've learned a lot. There's a lot of folks out there that have some great channels, and you know, it's a cool brotherhood. Everybody will fit in and find their niche. And so that being said, I'm going to sip on another little sip on that coffee there, and I'm going to show you the oldest knife in my collection, if you want to see it. If you don't, well, let's check it out. All right, let's get this focused and working over here. All right. Now, this may not interest a lot of folks. It may not look like much, because it didn't look like much when I stumbled on this thing. But there it is. I found this not that long ago. I think, maybe a little over a year ago. I stumbled on this. I think it was in an antique store or something. It was dirty. It was pretty dirty. But I knew what it was. I knew this was a knife from the 1700s. And, they had like $2 on it because, to the average person, this thing just looks, it doesn't look like much. But, and this, and I'll tell you straight up, this is not the oldest knife in my collection. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But this one's really, really old. So it's, and here's a cool thing about this thing. So I'll talk a little bit about it. This is pre-Revolutionary War, sometime in the early mid 1700s. All right, no backspring. No backspring on this thing, and there's no liners. It's just got a horn frame. Okay, got a few pins and a swivel blade. The swivel blade butts up against this here. I guess you could consider this a liner, but there's no liners up in here. It's just a piece of steel right here, piece of iron. And the cool thing is this thing is actually marked. The blade is marked. And as old as it is, see that right there? It's got a name right across here. The cool thing about this, as old as this is, this was either made in colonial America in 1740 or 1730, or it was made over in Europe somewhere and carried over here on the wooden ships. I mean, that's it. It's a horn knife with an old forged out blade. And check it out, folks. I used my loop. And you can take a loop and get your iPhone camera up into the loop. I've done this before. So I've got this nice 10 power loop here, and I can almost make that out. But I'm thinking this is maybe a French knife or something that came over during colonial times, early on. It's pre-Revolutionary War. Looks like maybe a C-A-R, G-H, I don't know. Caruth, I can't make it out, but there is a maker stamp, a name right there. Isn't that cool? Yeah, so you can utilize a 10 power loop with your iPhone and magnify things. That's a lot of fun to do. So yeah, so here's a good book, folks. Swords, Blades of the American Revolution. And I've got it opened up. This is a great book. I recommend it. You can find it on eBay. No problem. But here is some really, really early knives, early folders. And these things all date 1750, all kind of in that range here. Look at that, 1750 to... Yeah. So this is a great book, folks, for early knives, swords. It really covers it all, by George Newman. You could probably pick up a copy for about $10-15 on eBay. It's got it all, man. It's got hatchets, tomahawks, halberds, primitive swords, hunting swords. It is really, really cool book. I recommend it. Yeah, so anyway, this little this little piece of nothing here. You know, how many of these survived? I have no clue. I cannot believe it was just sitting there in this little antique store. And the person that put it out probably thought, oh, that's just some old thing somebody made in their barn or something. Yeah. So, yeah, it's probably 1740, maybe even older. Yeah, so that's going back a ways. All right, I'm going to show you the oldest knife, because that's not the oldest knife. I'm going to show you. Hey, by the way, when I'm out and about on the hunt, I always carry some kind of magnification, 10 power loop. But this is what I carry pretty much all the time. It's just a standard, maybe a 2 or 3 power magnifier. This was my grandfather's. He was a mill worker, carpenter, and I think what he used this for was picking slivers out of his hand. That would be my guess. He used to have some kind of like writing on this cover here, but I carry this all the time. If I see something and the old eyes can't see it well, I'll grab the old magnifier. All right, here is the oldest knife in my collection. Now, I've never shared any of this kind of stuff with you before. I'll start out by saying I grew up in Shasta County in the early mid '60s. Moved away from there in '68. Yeah, my father was an explorer, hunter. He hunted arrowheads and did all kinds of stuff. And then '74, my parents moved to Lakeview, Oregon. That's arrowhead country, folks, southern Oregon. And these are all artifacts that my father and I found. And my father found this. This is the oldest hafted knife in my collection. He found this in kind of like an overhanging rock shelter. It wasn't very large. He showed me where he found it. He took me up there later on, like months later. I did a lot of hunting with my dad. My dad's passed on. He's been gone for years. But, whoops. Yeah, this is old, folks. 5, 6, 7,000, probably. Yep. That's an old knife right there. The stories that knife could tell. But that's Cascade shouldered right there. The stories, and I've never shared my artifacts because I've got an extensive artifact collection of stuff that I found with my father, that my father found, and some old family collections, a couple of them that I picked up years ago. But that's the oldest knife right there. You probably thought this one here from 1740 or so was the oldest. That one tops it, man. Yeah. This thing could be anywhere, well, it could be anywhere from a couple thousand years up to, 7 or 8. Going way back, man. Hafted knife. They took, this, of course, I'm out west. This is obsidian. And they took and inserted it into bone like this, or wood, and used pine tar, pine pitch, kind of as a glue. And that's what they did on this one here. But, yep. Little knife, man. It's old. All right, way back Wednesday, and talking way, way back, man. Way back.